To the far west we have a series of 4 large mountain ranges, marking large patches of rugged terrain that include the Cascade Range, Rocky Mountains, Coast Mountains, and Mackenzie Mountains. To the east is a fairly flat piece of terrain with a moderate density of lakes known as the interior plains. Yet, once the terrain even further east cratons starts to become completely filled with tightly clustered lakes spaced not too far apart from each other, you have reached what is known as the Canadian Shield. You can see, for example, that all 4 of Canada's lesser-known Great Lakes such as Great Bear Lake are located at the western edge of this geographic and geologic province. So, what makes the Canadian Shield so special? Put simply, the Canadian Shield is a massive craton, meaning the area outlined on screen has almost universally old rock dating back more than 1.5 billion years ago and has not experienced a high degree of volcanism since the region formed. In other words, while other sections of the continent have experienced dramatic changes due to geology during the last 1.5 billion years, this region has remained relatively intact, albeit with erosion still occurring. In fact, this area even contains the 2 oldest distinct rock units on Earth, dating back 4 billion years ago. That is how stable much of it has remained, despite the fact that the craton contains a number of different rock units. Almost all of the lakes contained within this craton formed during the last 2.58 million years during the Pleistocene or Holocene epochs. Repeated glaciations, which in some areas were more than 3 kilometers thick, covered almost the entirety of Canada at its peak, with the movement of these features forever changing the landscape. They left numerous lakes through 3 methods. 1. Scouring the landscape, creating numerous glacial lakes, long and thin low points in the ground which became lakes that paralleled the motion of advanced the regional ice sheets had. 2. Leaving behind uneven amounts of sediment as they retreated, creating many high and low points, the latter of which filled with water and thus became lakes. 3. Chunks of ice between the size of a small boulder and 8 kilometers wide breaking off and being buried by sediment, eventually melting to form what is known as a kettle lake. All 3 of these lake types can be found in the vicinity of Youthkeed Lake. But what about its geology? The entirety of the islands within the lake and 99% of the rocks immediately on the rim of Youthkeed Lake are a type of rock that I jokingly call the end result of every single rock type in a craton if it doesn't get completely melted down, gneiss. And this gneiss is dated top 2.6 billion years old. During the Neo-Archean period, gneiss is the highest grade of metamorphic rock you can reach, without partially or completely melting a rock. Thanks for watching this video. As a final note, I would like to thank my new patron Yar Manar Nar for supporting my